Welcome to Therapy Facts with Dr. Jenn. The 10th point about how therapy works is that it is very important to revisit on a regular basis the deeper and clearer understanding that is achieved with therapy. Because the new understanding that you will get from therapy is new, is not your default, is so fresh compared to whatever the length of your life. It will be easy to forget those details or forget the new perspective on those details if the new perspective is not revisited on a regular basis. So, for example, if you decide that you will start saying no more frequently, when you begin to say no and people are actually either cooperative with your no, meaning they don't get upset, they're understanding, and you get better and more comfortable at saying no, you have to remember why you started saying no more from the beginning in the first place. Because when you get more comfortable and or people are giving you more cooperation and acceptance, you can begin to what we call drop your guard, right? Because once you say no more and it stops being painful, it will then be more comfortable. You may have more time and or you may have what we call more psychological bandwidth because people are not just imposing on you. You're not just going along to get along. You're not overextending yourself. And so you may find yourself with all of this new bandwidth, psychological bandwidth, breathing space, right? Thinking space, being space. And you might say, oh, Sissy might call you on a Saturday and say, hey, I'm so sorry, but my sitter said that she couldn't come. She just told me and I gotta be at work in 30 minutes. Can you come and get the kids? Can I drop the kids off with you? You may be tempted to say, okay, Sissy, you've been pretty cool about me saying no. You've been respectful. I'll do it this one time, right? The challenge, though, is that when you do it this one time because you're feeling better, because your default was previously that you allowed yourself to be intruded upon over and over and over again, then doing it this one time because you feel better can easily allow you to go all the way back to baseline and end up with Sissy imposing on you again, and you're not saying anything to go along to get along because that has been the road that was most traveled. That's the pathway that's the deepest in your brain. Saying no is new and fresh. So if you decide that, yes, I can help you in this bind, then you still need to be super clear and say, Sissy, this is one time. You have been great for the last 3 months with not asking me and with accepting no when I'm saying no. Now, my therapist said if I make an exception, because again, you want to bring me up again in order to, or bring your therapist up again in order to say, hey, if I help you this one time, don't forget that this is for emergencies. This is a one-time thing. Don't call me next week. Like, go ahead and think today about what is your contingency for next week when your sitter backs out on you at the last minute, because it's not me, right? So let her know, but more importantly, let yourself know. Remind yourself, hey, I cannot backslide, because that is how relapse happens in anything. We do a new behavior, we feel better, we then allow ourselves to engage in that old behavior that was detrimental this once, right? And then before you know it, because the old behavior was so consistent and so known to us and so deeply rooted in our behavioral repertoire, before you know it, we are back doing that old behavior very consistently. And we're like, dang, for you who find yourselves in that circumstance, because it is real, if you find yourself in that circumstance, it's okay to put an abrupt stop. Skirt, right? To burn rubber on, to burn up your brakes, to stop the behavior, and to go back to the new behavior, or to go to the new behavior. So if you look up and Sissy is at your door every Saturday without even calling now, it's okay to stop her and say, hey, this is it. Today is it. I'm going to help you today because I'm that kind of person. But don't call me next week. And hold the line. When she shows up next week, no ma'am, I'm sorry, I told you. Not happening, right? We're going back to where we were before. And it's not Sissy's fault, because Sissy's going to get, people are going to do what we allow people to do, right? They're going to do to us what we allow. It is up to us to hold the line by remembering. So the best way to do that is not to have those exceptions. Okay, I'll do it just this once. Because just this once often leads us all the way back to the baseline. And the good news, though, is that we should be encouraged to keep starting over as many times as we need to get to the place that we want to go. But if we don't make those exceptions, or if we make the exception with lots of discussion about how this is just an exception, and then hold the line, then we don't have to keep starting over. We can pause and take a break and then keep going without losing ground.